In the latest Nintendo Direct, we are granted the reveal of the next Zelda game. Tears of the Kingdom moves on as we'll be given The Legend of Zelda: Echoes of Wisdom. This is going to be a top-down style of Zelda, using the same graphics that Link's Awakening for the Switch has used. But instead of playing as Link once again, we will be given the chance to explore Hyrule as Princess Zelda. The trailer that we got was very amazing, and plenty of details I'm sure you missed were packed away. So in this video, I'm going to analyze the trailer and point out many secrets I found. I will divide this analysis into 3 parts. The first part will be going through every scene in the trailer and explaining each detail in it. In the second part, I will list all the echo materials shown in this trailer. And lastly, there's a bit of theorizing and speculating I want to do at the end, so stay tuned for that later on. In the first part of the trailer, Link is hiding behind a wall, waiting for his moment to attack 3 Darknuts blocking a door. As he runs up to them, you'll notice that he seems to be wearing a version of the Hylian hood from Breath of the Wild and Tears of the Kingdom, and he wields the Hylian shield and what I believe to be the Master Sword. He defeats them all with one spin attack, and then the screen fades out. In the next scene, Zelda is trapped in a crystal above Ganon, who has the same design as A Link to the Past. This part is really reminiscent of the final battle cutscene shown in Ocarina of Time, which is really cool in my opinion. Link throws his hood on the ground and points his sword at Ganon, who then thrusts at the hero with his trident. Link jumps over him and slashes Ganon in the face. The warlord warps to a different corner of the screen and thrusts a ball of magic at Link, who reflects it back and causes it to hit Ganon. Link finishes him off using a jump spin attack move, and Ganon disappears with the trident falling out of his hand. Link walks up to Zelda, but is soon caught in a mysterious void created by the trident. Link attempts to shoot an arrow at the crystal, but sinks in before he breaks the crystal. Zelda is able to break the crystal and escape the same terrible fate that Link and other people in Hyrule have endured. Having finally escaped what would have been a terrible fate, Zelda stares into the distance at a massive Hyrule, and we as the audience are given the title of the game, Echoes of Wisdom. It's worth pointing out that this Hyrule looks almost identical to the one from A Link to the Past, except for the volcano version of Death Mountain that exists. But other than that, Hyrule Castle and Lake Hylia are aligned exactly how they were in A Link to the Past. After Eiji Aonuma's speech about this new adaptation to a top-down style Zelda game, we are shown glimpses of towns and other areas that are affected by the void. The village shown is most likely a castle town or a version of Kakariko Village. We then see Zelda in a jail cell for reasons unknown at the time, where she meets the next Zelda companion. She meets a mysterious fairy named Tri, who I will be calling Tri-Fairy. You'll immediately notice that its tail is made up of 3 triangles, which we'll cover in the last section of the video. It's crazy to think that we haven't gotten a true Zelda companion since Fi and Skyward Sword, meaning that the last time we got a completely new Zelda companion was over 10 years ago. But I'm excited to explore Hyrule along with the new Tri-Fairy. But anyway, the fairy grants Zelda what's called the Tri-Rod, which grants the princess the ability to create objects that have been echoed. With a new tool in hand, Zelda sets off on a new journey, wearing her own Hylian hood. Whether this is her own hood, or one that Link dropped is undetermined, but we'll find out when the game comes out in a few months. In the next scenes, a demonstration of the echo ability is given, so I'll run through each of those scenes. We are first shown Zelda echoing a wooden table inside the jail cell. I'd like to point out that an object that you are able to echo, a yellow light with triangles surrounding the object can be seen, and like with the Tri-Fairy's tail, we'll cover that later on in the video. By using the X button, Zelda can create the item that is selected and use it to solve certain puzzles like the one shown here. In the next scene, Zelda echoes a wooden block in what looks like to be Kakariko Village. We can see some of the villagers here as well as a fenced off pasture at the top of the screen. All I have to say is that I'm excited to explore this new village, whatever it is. I also forgot to mention this earlier, but the mini-map in the bottom right corner looks almost identical to the one used in the newest open-air Zelda game, so we could possibly be given an overall map, much like the design of those games. The next few scenes show Zelda echoing different objects, which I'll list off in a few minutes, but what's really cool to point out is that when Zelda swims up through a water tower she made, a water gauge appears next to her, which I can't recall seeing in any other 2D Zelda game. One last random quick note, you could probably collect heart pieces across the land to expand Zelda's life, adding on to the 3 hearts she starts out with. I'll explain the next scenes when we list off all the echo materials, but for now let's skip over to the scene which seems to take place in Gerudo Desert. After Zelda jumps on a trampoline, you can see a Gerudo woman standing near a tree and a desert hut, and I think it's awesome to see them in a 2D Zelda game besides Four Swords Adventures. After we thought the new mechanics were crazy enough, we were given even more when they showed that you could echo enemies to have them fight in battles for you. We are then shown a few of the enemies that she can echo, which will be added to the list of things we'll go over soon. In the next few scenes, we are given a break from seeing the echo mechanic and shown some really cool sections of the game, like running away from moving voids, walking over the tree lines to get to a new section, and Zelda winding up what looks to be a rock launcher. In that scene, you can also see a chest on a platform, and the only way to get it is by echoing an object and using it to climb up onto the platform. We're also shown a section of Zelda using a bird to fly over the lava, as well as an old man that looks like a blacksmith. This could be hinting towards an upgraded mechanic alongside the echo mechanic, but we'll see what happens. Next up, we have some iconic characters making a comeback, such as Impa, who is seen fighting alongside Zelda. Both the evil and civilized Zora stand together, which doesn't make sense at the time, a Deku Scrub from Ocarina of Time, and the Great Deku Tree himself. We can also expect to see some really neat bosses, like this rock golem thing shown for about 2 seconds, and really cool dungeon puzzles making use of a light beam emitter shown here. We also see some iconic enemies make a return, like the Skulltulas and the Peahats. And lastly, we have finally gone over all the scenes shown, and the main background is shown, with the release date showing September 26, 2024. This game, as Eiji Aonuma stated, is meant to break the conventions of 2D Zelda games, and I really look forward to exploring Hyrule with a new hero, as well as a new gameplay mechanic where the possibilities are truly endless. Throughout this trailer, we are shown many different materials that I wanted to set aside when analyzing the scenes, so now I will list off all the materials that we saw we were able to echo. To start, we were shown the wooden table in the jail cell, as well as the old bed on the other side of the jail cell. We were also shown a wooden box, a water block, flower pot, a decorative shrub, a trampoline, signpost, rock, what I think is a truffle but I'm not sure, honey pot, a moblin, either a lever or a floor spike, most likely the latter, angler fry, dekubaba, sea urchin, I believe a Lysophos, Skulltulas, Peahat, whatever this flame enemy is, and what I speculate to be a Gibdo or Redead. I'm sure that these were only a few of several more items that exist, and like Eiji Aonuma said, he wasn't even able to name them all, meaning that we are in for a real treat. Lastly, as we analyze this trailer, we are also left with some things to speculate on. For example, I mentioned that the Tri-Fairy's tail was made up of 3 yellow triangles. It makes us wonder if this new echo power is somehow connected to the Triforce itself, or at least the wisdom piece of it. For now, I think it's impossible to say whether the Triforce will make a comeback in this game, but I feel like this trailer might have hinted at it a little bit. And secondly, where does this game fit on the Zelda timeline? It's confusing to say when Zora from 2 separate branches exist as one, and it's easy to assume that it takes place in the Downfall timeline, but what if this era of Hyrule and version of Link and Zelda have nothing to do with A Link to the Past or Link's Awakening? I could go on and on about this, but I think it's better to save this topic for another video. Overall, this is a Zelda game worthy of getting hyped for, as we get to play as Zelda for the first time in an official canon Zelda game. I feel like this game is a mashup between Link's Awakening for the art style and Tears of the Kingdom with its game-breaking Ultra Hand mechanic, but I truly believe that this game was made for fans of the classic era of Zelda, along with the newer fans of the more creative game-breaking era of the series. After I finish working on my video explaining the series' many deities, I'm hoping to focus my content more on the Echoes of Wisdom, so look out for those videos in the future. In the meantime, subscribe to the channel for more Zelda videos, and I'll see you on our next adventure.